very similar vowel systems and what is more important, similar stress patterns across paradigms. So this gives very similar rhythm of speech. If we look at the vowel system, Bulgarian has the 6 cardinal vowels, cardinal in the vowel diagram. So one high close, close mid, and then the central one, lower A, and then 2 back vowels. That's it. All other Balkan languages may have one less or one more, but they are the vowel vocabularies go between 5 and 6, and they're in those cardinal dimensions. So Macedonian and Greek like the central up, and Romanian has an additional round E, and Albanian too. They have an additional round E, and Romanian has a E, something that is close to the Russian B. Okay. So Romanian will have the richest vowel vocabulary, but it's everything in the core vocabulary is there. So that's one isogloss, vowels and stress patterns. Other famous Balkan features are the syncretism between genitive and dative in languages that still have case. Bulgarian and Macedonian lost their cases, that syncretism is shown in pronouns. Romanian developed cases. Or retained the case system from Latin. All other Romance languages lost their case system. Romanian in a Balkan setting, for some reason, kept its case system, whereas Bulgarian and Macedonian at the same time lost their case systems. But the syncretism is manifested in both in different ways. Then there is like this very peculiar development of a post-post definite article and very similar uses of it that are also very idiosyncratic. So post-post definite article exists in all languages except Greek, but Greek has similar uses. Okay, so the Albanian post-post article is used in phrases with generic reference. It is an unusual feature to use definite forms of nouns when you refer to entities in a very general way. So flies belong to the class of insects. In many languages will follow the English model. If they have a definite article, they will not use it. But on the Balkans, you use the definite form with a generic reference. So this is in Albanian, it's in Bulgarian, not in Macedonian. Macedonians don't use it with a generic reference. It's in Romanian, and it's in Greek, even though the Greek particle is precedes the noun. So that gives us another isogloss, and this gives you another principle of areal linguistics. When you check an area and you're reasonably sure that these are the languages you should be checking, you also start for a more or less of degrees of membership into that area. This is valid for any area any area you'll be checking. I'll show this with standard average European as well. But the generic use of the definite article excludes Macedonian and includes all the others. Then the appositional use, we Bulgarians, is present in all of the languages, including Macedonian. So we have it and there is a second isogloss that will include Macedonian. Other famous Balkanism, and then the third use of the definite article, which is also very Balkan, is to use nouns in a verbial function with a definite form. So in Bulgarian it's always the case, in Macedonian sometimes, but not always. So in fall in fall is definite, but if they talk about winter, they don't want the article, maybe because they're so keen on being different from us. And all the other Romanian and Greek and Albanian will use the definite article when talking about periods of time, seasons, or points in time, parts of the day or night. And that gives us, I'm sorry that I shouldn't have used white here, but it is the third isogloss. Okay. The verb system is very complicated in all of these languages, but it's also good news is that if you're learning one, you will know the basics of the other. All of these languages discarded infinitives. So forms like yemek are gone. You find another way to refer to verbs. No infinitives. So if I wanted to refer to a verb, I use the first person form of the verb to eat or sleep. Okay. That's the Bulgarian convention. The Macedonian convention is to use the third person form. I forget like what they, I think in Romanian they use the first person form as well. And I don't know which form they use in Albanian. I only know that the infinitive there is gone. And in Greek, they use the first person form. So that's a way to referring to a verb. And verbal actions, now nominals are not very much in use, or they're stylistically very marked. There is this way in all systems to distinguish between an accomplishment and process. In some systems this is aspect, in other systems this is the aorist combined with some spectral values. They all developed a special kind of future that per se is not so spectacular. So there is a periphrastic future where the particle comes from the verb want in all 5 languages. But the point is that none of the languages around the Balkans have this kind of future. So this is the Balkan invention. So the future looks like this. It's a particle, but it clearly comes from a verb that I know as shta, and my grandma was using it as a full verb want at some forms. I can still use in Macedonian the form is ke, but it clearly comes from that. In Romanian, the Latin-based form, so this is vouloir. I know the French form, but it comes from there, and in Greek and in Albanian as well. Serbian is finally having a Balkan feature because they have the same kind of future. That's one of the few Balkanisms that they have. So we get for the periphrastic form, for the periphrastic future, we have a much bigger isogloss that covers all of the Balkans. And if we put all the others, we'll see that some languages have all features, some will have fewer. Then there are local unions, like Bulgarian and Macedonian borrow the evidential from Turkish, and the other languages didn't. Then Albanian and Greek both did away with a formally marked subjunctive, so they have their own periphrastic constructions for that. and those are localized. The Balkans are a microcosm within, I mean, it's a well-delimited area, like 3 seas, depending on how you count. But Slovenian is completely out, Hungarian, except for a very weird use of verbs that do remind of a spectral perfective-imperfective Slavic distinction. They don't have much else. So being in the middle of a geographic area may help having all the features of that area. And the features that developed on the Balkans are not inherited in any of these languages. They do count as innovations, common innovations, except for, like, the obvious borrowing of the evidential and other structural features from Turkish that are localized.
Evidential is also observed in Albanian.
Albanian has evidential? Oh, okay. I didn't know. Thank you. Okay, so it's not as local as I thought. Okay. Another area that has been studied very well is Western and, well, what Hasselnut set out to do about 10 years ago was to study the mainland Europe, and Europe is stretched down to the Caucasus. So the abbreviations here indicate different languages. Hasselnut studied about 11 features that he checked for all of the languages on the map. So this includes the Germanic languages, the Romance languages, Albanian, Greek, the Celtic languages, then Finnish and the Baltic languages, some Samoyed languages, then some Caucasian languages, Crimean, Tatar, Lesbian, Georgian, Armenian, and Turkish. What he found was that you can be more or less European. Some languages, and I'll go through some of these 11 features. Again, within the area of Europe, and Europe is linguistically a very weird continent. Many things that you find in Europe, you don't find anywhere else.